Have you ever in your life felt that you're not good enough? Have you ever suffered with just some anxiety, just things that just keep you captive? Have you ever felt depressed or a feeling of depression? Do you even know what that feels like? I have the wonderful blessing of having my brother in Christ next to me. And if you want to learn and have something you may be able to share with someone that's really struggling right now in their life, which is many of you, please stay tuned. You'll enjoy this testimony. This is Lessons for Life with Dr. Ron. We are here in Naples, Florida at our favorite place, Seat to Table. We're grateful for Alfie Oaks. We love this facility. Both Sal and I enjoy time here. The gentleman I'm going to introduce has become a dear friend of mine. We've actually known each other. I've known his brother for quite a while, but what we're going to hear today, I don't even know the details of, because I didn't know that he was walking through some difficulties, which, the reality is we all are. And I talk about, many of us go to church and things, and everything seems good. Everybody acts like things are great, but we know that the majority of the people at the churches, and the reason why they need to be there is the church, like Jesus said in the Bible, the church is for the sick, right? Because we're struggling. We're looking for answers. If everybody was doing wonderfully, we wouldn't really need any of that, right? Many times when things are going well, we think that we're doing it in our own strength. We don't even realize that everything comes from the Lord. Today, we're going to be talking about a pretty serious topic. Sal, the gentleman that's sitting next to me, his name is Sal Blasi, and he's going to introduce himself, but he's been willing to be vulnerable and share some things as to where he's begun his life and things that he's walked through as he's grown older. And we're going to talk on topics that I think a lot of you, or maybe you yourself or a friend or family member may be facing. And that is the topics of anxiety, the topics of depression. And I wanted to mention some things I looked up, because it looks like in the United States, the U.S. population is 340 million people. Worldwide, 8.2 billion. I just thought that's interesting stats. 340 million people in the United States, 8.2 billion of us in the world. And the rates of depression in the United States are somewhere in the neighborhood of 18%, which is over 21 million people. These are huge numbers. The anxiety rate in the United States is estimated to be 20%, with females being about 23% and males being about 14%, affecting over 40 million adults. It's estimated that over 30% of adults experience anxiety at some point in their lives. And the types of anxiety could be general anxiety, panic disorder, social anxiety disorder. Now we're seeing the rise of anxiety, depression, loss of self-worth due to many, many factors. And Sal's going to be sharing his story. Approximately 13% of adults 18 to 25 have had thoughts of ending their life. So with that said, Sal, I'm going to say, why don't you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about yourself, some of your background, and the powerful testimony that you're willing to come here and share, and the vulnerability it takes to share something like this on Lessons for Life with Dr. Ron. And obviously, the whole goal of this channel is to touch someone, to maybe help someone that's walking through the same situation you went through, and how powerful that can be. So enough about me chatting, and let's go ahead. Why don't you introduce yourself, what you're up to?
Good morning, everyone. Sal Blasi here. And Ron, thank you so much for having me. So I'll start out, you guys. I'm originally from Boston, moved down to Florida when I was 15, which is a long time ago. So I pretty much grew up here. I went to high school here. I went to college here. And I just want to get right into it, you guys. I've been battling anxiety and depression for over 20 years. The last 5 years were so bad. I didn't even want to be here anymore. I did not want to be on earth anymore. It was so bad. It just hurt so much. And I remember the first time I ever felt anxiety or panic. I didn't know what was going on, and it was in 2000. I remember this so clearly. I was in Italy, and it was me, my brother, and one of our best friends. And the cars in Italy are really small, and there's three of us. It was actually five of us, me, my brother, Jeff, and our two buddies. And we were going on a long road trip. We were young and wanted to have some fun, party. And I sat in the middle, and my buddy Jeff sat on the left of me, my brother sat on the right of me. And all of a sudden, I started feeling this feeling I've never felt before in my life. And it was scaring the you-know-what out of me. It was unbearable. I didn't know what it was. And I said, guys, please, we got to pull over. Something's going on. I'm like, what's going on? I'm like, I don't feel good. My heart's going 100 miles an hour. I thought I was having a heart attack. I had no idea what it was. And they were thinking, maybe, you had too much espresso. Long story short, it was bad. It started turning into a full panic attack, which I didn't even know what was happening. I begged them, guys, to please pull over. We literally pulled over every 10 minutes on this 3-hour ride. And I remember they let me sit up front. And I remember sitting up front, crying and praying to God to please make it stop. I didn't know what it was. I've never experienced anything like that. That was one of the scariest moments of my life. So it was so bad. When we got there to our destination, I just really couldn't function. I just kind of walked around the beach a little bit, tried to just calm down. Long story short, I wouldn't get in that car and drive all the way back. It was over a 3-hour ride. I took the train back, and my best friend rode back with me. Long story short, kind of out of sight, out of mind for a couple of weeks. Got back home, and I remember this so clearly. Remember, this was like 20 years ago. This girl I was dating, she spent the night, and I woke up at around 4 o'clock with that same feeling again. And I was like, oh my God, what is going on? What is this? I still had no idea what panic and anxiety was. I woke up, freaked out. She said, are you okay? And I said, no, I'm not. Walked pacing around the house, trying to figure out what's going on. Long story short, I went to the emergency room, and they checked me out and said, Sal, you're fine. You're just having a panic attack. I said, panic attack? What the heck's a panic attack? Anxiety. Gave me some medication. Didn't really help. So long story short, kind of out of sight, out of mind. Didn't happen again for about a couple months. And it happened again. And my anxiety just happens for no reason. Okay. Just something could trigger it. Usually when people have anxiety, something triggers it. And it's something, some bad experience of mine. It took so long to find out what it was. I never knew what it was. I could just be sitting here right here with Ron, and all of a sudden I can get that feeling, and it's unbearable. So here's what happened. Started happening more often. I said, I got to go get checked out. So I went, got a full physical. My doctor said, Sal, you couldn't be in any better health. Remember, this was 20 years ago, any better shape. He said, you have anxiety, and don't worry about it. We're going to put you on some medication. A lot of my buddies are on it. You'll be fine. Back then, I was anti-medication. I didn't want to take anything. But guess what? He made me feel very comfortable, and started taking medication, and automatically I felt at peace, okay? But that only lasted about 6-7 months, and it happened again. And when it happens, you guys, when I tell you, nothing in this world scares me, not that I'm some big tough guy, just a lot of things, nothing scares me except anxiety. I do not wish it upon my worst enemy, okay? Do not wish it upon my worst enemy. It's the worst feeling you could ever have. And I honestly believe that my anxiety was worse than anyone's in the world. I don't think anyone in the world had anxiety worse than me. I've seen the devil many times, looked him right in the eyes many times, and it's the scariest thing ever. So here's what's happened. I got to get over this. I've seen so many therapists, so many psychiatrists. I have tried every kind of medication there is. I have tried every holistic route. As a matter of fact, I tried getting hypnotized by 3 supposedly the best hypnotists in the world. Guess what? Never worked, okay? I have tried every online course, anything that came up, get over anxiety. I was a sucker for and wanted the course, paid for it, spent a lot of money trying to get better. So about 6 years ago, I started getting just a little bit closer to God. And I grew up strict Catholic, and just went to church on Christmas and Easter. Never really was a church kind of going guy. But anyways, with this, it was really freaking me out. So I started just going to church. And I never got anything out of Catholic Mass, and I feel bad even saying that. God forgive me. So I started going to non-denominational church, and as soon as I started going, oh my goodness, I felt this peace that I've never felt in my life. Never, ever. And I realized the closer I got to God, the less anxiety I had. The closer I get to God, the less anxiety I had. So I started giving myself to Him. But here's the thing. I didn't give him to myself fully at the beginning because I still wanted to play. Ron knows how I used to be. I'm a totally different person than I was before. Just to give you a idea, before, I had zero interest in God. I had zero interest in being married. I just wanted to play, have fun. And finally, you start getting closer to God. You start realizing, you know what? Those things do not matter. What matters is Him, our Father. So I started going to church every Sunday. I started going to groups, grow groups. And all of a sudden, I started leading groups. Now I actually lead prison ministry through church, and it's incredible. We just did our first 8 weeks there. We had to narrow it down for the 12 weeks that we usually have. But I tell people this: if you have anxiety or depression, you have to get with God. It is the only way. When I tell you, I've tried everything, everything, you name it, I've tried everything, whatever you could think of. Nothing ever worked until I finally gave myself to him. When I say finally gave myself to him, I mean I changed everything. I try not to sin. Obviously, we're going to sin, but I try to live my life like Jesus. Obviously, it's very hard, but I try to do the right things. And I always, in every situation I get in, let's say if somebody, cuts me off or does something to me, and you know what, I am so nice and calm. I just bite my tongue, just give it to God. And that's what's helped me so much, Ron, just giving everything to God. When you give everything to God, you have nothing to worry about. So here's the thing. I still have anxiety, but now I'm in control of it. Okay, before it used to control me. Now I laugh at it when it tries coming at me because I have God. There's no one more powerful than him, and he handles everything that comes my way. So I cannot say enough good things about him, you guys. When I tell you I tried everything, nothing ever worked until I gave myself to him. So now I can't stop talking about him. I love him so much, and I make sure I tell everyone about it. If someone doesn't want to hear me talking about God, that's too bad. You're going to hear about it. I don't care. He means that much to me. If it wasn't for him, I would not be standing here right next to Ron right now. It was that bad, and he saved my life, and I'm happy to share my story with everyone who wants to listen to it.
Wow. I mean, that's incredible. I'm going to do a little bit of follow-up. First of all, I used to see Sal, he's got some tattoos along his back, his brother as well, who I knew a little more. These guys, they look like Marines. I mean, you would never, ever think that they don't have the world by the you-know-what. It's shocking that I learned this actually about this gentleman just literally like 3 weeks ago, not even 2 weeks ago. And I did not know. I always thought these guys, were living on top of the world. Definitely could see him a little bit of a rebel yell, out there. And this has just been a fascinating opportunity for me to get to know a little bit about Sal himself. Also, I do want, Sal, I'm going to have you talk about where you're at now. If you have a woman in your life, the company that you've been blessed to be part of, and all those things as we kind of close out. But before that, just touching on, this is such a serious topic. The idea of being captive by anxiety, the people that are faced with the loss of self-worth and the much deeper levels of just depression and despair. I always like to ask for maybe some steps that you would advise. I know that you've been touched by Jesus. You've been radically transformed. I remember when I first I believe I saw Sal. I believe I saw him come into Grow Church on kind of his first destination visits. And this guy, he stood like a totem pole. His face didn't have a crack of a smile. Yep. And years later, I went up to him and I just saw a huge transformation. Kind of like, the giant then becoming the gentle giant. He's smiling. All of a sudden he's moving, he's in, the music's coming on. He's actually moving a little bit. I'm like, man, this guy's got some skills. And so, it's been amazing for me to watch what Jesus has done in a dear friend of mine. Again, he's my brother in Christ, what I've seen happen in his life and the willingness that he just took now to share something that's vulnerable. I mean, for him to come on and talk about, people that probably know him to this day would have never, I didn't know. So many people don't know that he walked through that type of captivity and challenge. So actually not even want to step out into life, and actually thoughts apparently of even taking his life, which he shared in confidence with me. That's how bad, just to make sure we're explaining the depth of how dire this gentleman was, and that he's been able to walk through that, all the things he mentioned, from the hypnotist to all the medications, the therapist, which again, no idea he went through all of this. So I think it's important to kind of recap that. And I know that there's people watching this that are just really, really begging to find answers. So I'm going to circle back. We're going to close out by him explaining where he is now in his life. But prior to that, I always like to try to offer some steps. And so it may not be easily stated, and he did talk about how he came to the Lord. But what do you think? Just if someone's watching this, they're thinking about ending their life, they don't know how to get out of this. What's just the first thing? Because you found the Lord. Yeah. Where would they go? What do they do?
You guys, here's one thing that really I was stuck on, is I kept it all inside because I'm some big tough guy. Remember, I'm so different now. I was embarrassed, Here's what you need to do. You need to talk to people about it. Get a good circle of friends. Do not be embarrassed about it. Do not be embarrassed. I was embarrassed. Because I didn't want anyone to know that Sal Blasi is going through something. That is absolutely ridiculous, okay? I have zero ego now because of God. Zero ego. I used to have an ego. I used to think I was Mr. Cool Guy. I have this or that. Now, guess what? I know better. I am not Mr. Cool Guy. I'm just a regular guy, just like everyone else. So talk about it. Don't be embarrassed. Get help, okay? And there's nothing wrong with taking medication. I used to be anti-medication, but I tell you, it helps. It helps. Do not be shy about taking medication. Get help, and I highly recommend, get in a church. If you're not in a church, there's so many great churches here. There's so many. I'm sure everyone watching this probably knows where Ron and I go to grow, but there are so many other ones too, you guys. Get with God. That is the one thing I can tell you. Get with him as much as you can, because when you get with God and you realize that when you're with him and you give everything to him, you have nothing to worry about, you guys. That has helped so much. So whatever problem you have, whatever's scaring you, you grab it and you just give it to him. He handles everything, you guys. I cannot say enough good things about him. I brag about him every day. So my life has changed dramatically. I just got married 2 years ago, one of my 2-year anniversary. And which is very rare, because if you would ask me about 3-4 years ago, Sal, you're going to settle down and get married, I'd say you're crazy. Just never ever was that guy. And guess what? Now I am the happiest I've ever been. I'm with my wife, like I said, for 2 years. We changed just our favorite thing to do, you guys. You're going to laugh. Okay. I'm going to share with you guys our favorite thing to do. Before, remember, Sal, the old Sal, used to just play. Wanted to go out, party. That's all I wanted to do. Now, our favorite thing to do, we love to sit at home with the babies. When I say the babies, our 6 rescues, our 3 dogs, our 2 cats, and our turtle. My wife just like to sit on the couch. They sit down next to us, and we just love watching TV. That's our favorite thing to do. But you guys, if anyone is struggling out there, here's what I can tell you. I never thought I would be able to get over it. I thought I was going to have to live my life like this, battling the anxiety and depression. Guess what? You don't have to. You don't have to. That's why God sent his son down on the cross so we don't have to go through this. And when you realize that, you are free. So you guys, the best thing I can tell you, get with God, get with people, talk about it. Okay. I always felt so much better when I talked about it. Do not be embarrassed. It affects millions of people. But that is the best advice that I can give you. Like I said, I've tried everything. The only thing that worked for me, him upstairs, you guys. That's the stuff that I highly recommend.
Wow. Did you crack open the Bible? Where you, like, I was born and raised Catholic, and even my mother goes to Catholic church still, even though she's been going to some Bible-based churches as well, learning a little more. She never cracked the Bible open. In fact, the movie that I sent to her was called The War Room, which I thought brought tears to my eyes. Yeah. Just the fact that you have that dedicated place to read the word, to actually focus on God's spoken word. And just about my mother and even myself, I always had the desire to read the Bible, but I used to have them really big Bibles my parents bought me. They didn't even fit on this table, and I'd open it to the book of Genesis. I'd fall asleep by the 2nd or 3rd verse at the most. And anyway, I mentioned this in a prior video too. I was introduced to starting with the Gospels, the book of John, but just back to the Bible. Is that something that you stepped into? I know you found the church that you love, but anything with those steps that people can do. That you mentioned getting involved in grow groups. Just to close as we wind down, what are those couple other steps I know that you're involved in now that you mentioned? Again, to give this person watching or these people watching a couple more tools to get them out of that stuck. They're just stuck in that spot. They don't know how to make that move.
Great questions, you guys. I'm so glad you mentioned that, Ron. One of the things I can tell you guys, you've got to get with people in church. You got to get with people in the same atmosphere as you that want the same thing. Here's what I can tell you. Okay. You got to get with grow groups. Okay. When I started getting into grow groups, I started making these such valuable connections. And I call these people my go-to people. Whenever I start feeling anxiety, you know what I do? I text these people.
What's a grow group?
So that's a good question. A grow group is a group that churches have, where basically they do studies. They could do it on any topic. For example, you can do it, like, say, on the book of John, or you can do, it's like either a 6 or 8 week course. You can do it on anxiety. You really can do it on anything. People could pick, but a lot of times they have things to do, with the Bible, different parts of the Bible, and you just basically, it's almost like a Bible study.
Fellowship.
It's a lot of fellowship, exactly.
People that you can be vulnerable with.
People that you can be vulnerable.
To know each other.
Exactly. Get everything. But the best thing about it, you guys, is these people have saved me so bad. I remember so many times the anxiety would get so bad, and you know what? I would text a couple of my buddies from my prayer group, guys, I'm not doing well in these group chats. Can you please pray for me? And you guys, I'm not kidding you. Almost immediately when they start replying back and they're telling me they're praying for me, I can feel that peace. So get with a church, get with groups, you guys, get into as many groups as you can. It helps so much. So here's what happens, you guys, really with anxiety, to break it down. When you're anxious, your mind is all like this. It goes like this. When you are at peace, it's like this. And that's what God gives you. That's what God gives you. He gives you that peace, you guys. And also remember, you're in control. Okay, when you're with God, everything is in control. Before, I didn't know. I wasn't with God, so I had no control. I was just so scared. You have no idea the fear. And like I said, I literally have seen the devil, looked at him in his eyes many times. I didn't want to be here, you guys. It was very scary. And because of him, he's changed my life for the better, and I cannot get enough of him, you guys. But talk to people about it. Get the help. Don't be embarrassed about getting professional help. I recommend counseling. I recommend I was just saying, for me, those were okay, but did nothing compared to when you gave myself to God. It's not even close.
Wow, I can't believe it. And opening the Bible back to that one last time.
Yeah. So
I just
good question. He's right. So opening the Bible, I do try reading the Bible. I'll be honest with you. I like reading books on the Bible because just everyone's different. I have ADHD. A lot of people say they haven't. No, I've been diagnosed with, so it's hard for me to pay attention. So when I'm reading the Bible, a lot of times I'll be turning the page and like, what did I just read? So I like to look at videos. I like to look at videos on YouTube. Here's something is kind of funny, Ron. You guys are going to laugh. But I learned so much about the Bible by watching The Chosen, you guys. And I know a lot of people like that.
We've talked about that in several of our episodes.
I know a couple of my buddies that just from watching The Chosen, they know so much. So that's one thing I recommend too is, if you were like me and it was hard reading the Bible, watch videos, watch movies on the Bible. But I highly recommend The Chosen because I learned so much. And one last little shout out about learning so much is going to church. I learned so much because our church, we're so lucky where we go to. We have the best pastors. I want to pay attention. When I was going to Catholic Mass, God forgive me, it was boring. I couldn't pay attention.
Ritualistic. Sit up, kneel down, stand up.
Yeah, hop and down. I call it doing aerobics. But when I'll tell you what, find a good church, you guys. Listen to the message. Get with him as much as you can. And I'm telling you, you will laugh at the anxiety and depression just like I did.
Wow. And again, I think it's powerful how he humbled himself, and I need to do that too. It isn't about, so we always say it's not about a religion, it's about a relationship.
Exactly.
And there's nothing wrong with whatever church you're at. Just please verify in the scripture, make sure it's a Bible-based church. Get into the Bible, understand that. But yeah, no, never to point fingers at different faiths and things like that. But yeah, just what a powerful testimony. It's amazing because I didn't even know. Again, this guy is stoic. I didn't. He's like a stone. He looks like a military. He's smiling now. He's like a teddy bear now. He didn't look like that before. He looked like he'd punch you in the face. So you wouldn't want to get him angry. That's for sure. His brother as well. His brother's name's Gio, right?
Yep.
So Gio and I used to go stomp out and about in the bar scene a little bit. 10, 12 years ago. That's how I first kind of met these guys at the beach, enjoying. Again, we're here in sunny Naples, Florida. So, to close this out, and we took the extra time because it's not a laughable thing. I've personally never been. I felt depression during 2020, and anyone who knows me, I cannot be in isolation. I need to be around brothers. I need to be around my friends. And I never felt what depression may be till around that time. And I'll tell you, my eyes teared up a lot. I never felt anything like it before, just a little bit about me. And so this idea of captivity, anxiety and depression, or even if you're ever thinking about taking your life, you need to get in touch with people. You need to surround yourself with people. Get to a local church, call the hotline, whatever it is. God didn't bring us here he doesn't make junk, number one, and he brought us here with a purpose. We are here to touch lives. We're here to serve others. And that's why we're here and I'm so blessed and grateful for Sal. I hope that this right here, this is such a powerful, powerful and needed topic that this touches so many lives. If any of you are watching all the way to this point, which we first of all appreciate, and you have a friend, if you have a spouse, a family member, share this with them.
Yes.
Don't even hesitate. Share this link right over.
Yep.
I'm sure you can send in the comments. I guarantee Sal will call you.
100%.
You can. We love comments and on the YouTube channel, what have you. And I always say, please share, please like our YouTube channel and subscribe. And the reason why I say that is we want to be able to get this message out, and you have the ability to and powerfully impact that to get this message to millions. So we are here in Naples, Florida. We call this channel Lessons for Life with Dr. Ron. Many times my spiritual father's with me, Bill. Lessons for Life with Dr. Ron and Bill. And our goal was to do just this. It was to get more and more testimonies so that we can touch and impact and change and transform people's lives. So with that said, any last closing words from you, big guy?
So you guys, if you're ever feeling that anxiety and depression, just remember, you are not alone, okay? You are not alone. God has everything under control. Just give everything to him and trust him. I promise you, he will take care of everything.
Wow. The Bible talks about the peace that surpasses any and all understanding, which I would have no clue about if I didn't come to the Lord. Yep. All righty, everybody, we're going to sign out. We love you. Sal loves you.
Love you guys.
And many blessings, and we sure hope that this has been helpful. Lessons for Life with Dr. Ron, and we are closing out and signing off.
See ya.
God bless.